G'day and welcome to episode 2 of my masterclass series. Today's episode, I want to explore how important your background and habitat is to your shot. By the end of the session, I hope that you'll know how to go out to the field and capture the best possible backgrounds. I'll explain how to get out of focus backgrounds and also backgrounds that enhance the subject and not take away from it. First, let's have a look at how beginners generally start and how I started. We go out into the field, we see a bird or a subject, just saw one fly past then, and all we do is we lift up the camera, we focus on it, we take a photo, and we don't really think about the background, the habitat, composition or anything. We're just so happy to see the bird, we take a photo of it. And here's a shot of a golden-headed Cisticola that I took over 12 years ago. First time I'd ever seen the species. I was happy to get the shot, but as you can see, that background dominates the bird. It's not a very good photo, and that's kind of what we want to avoid. I then figured out that, maybe we need to get fully out of focus backgrounds, that solid colored background. So I found that species again a few years later, and we took this shot. Now the bird's fantastic, but there's no detail in the background whatsoever, and it's a little bit boring. There's nothing wrong with this type of shot, but ideally we want to have some sort of habitat or context of where that subject is. So now when I go out, I'm trying to include a bit more habitat. Now I want to show you a photo that I've taken recently of this exact same subject, and I want you to have a think about how it makes you feel. What do you think about this image? Do you like it? What do you like about it? Is it better than the previous image I showed, and why? And here's another one, very similar, but they're both different. Both, to me, tell a bit of a story. We get a feel for where that subject is, and it's a bird in its habitat, and that's what I'm now looking for, and that's hopefully what you'll get out of today's video. I must stress this comes with hours and hours and even years of experience to be able to frame your shots and be able to understand your backgrounds, but the earlier you start, the easier it'll get. And so that's why I'm encouraging you to always be thinking about your background when you're taking shots. Today I'm shooting with the Olympus OM1 and the Olympus 300 f4 prime. We have our lens, we have our camera, that's what we need. Ideally 300 millimeters or more helps bring that subject closer to us. The next really important thing is the location, and we can't underestimate how important the location is into creating really good photos. The location almost makes the photo. So how do we find those locations? Well, with a lot of research, visiting, field visits, and figuring out where to go to get the best photos. And that's exactly why I'm at my local wetland. I've been here numerous times. I know that there'll be birds in these weeds here, and I know this should make for a good spot to take photos, and that's why I'm here. So there's no tall trees about, there's no birds in the top of the trees, so I'm just going to focus on the little birds that hop up in this weed here, try and isolate them and get a shot. I just mentioned a key word there. The next thing is isolating your subject. If you want a clean background or a non-distracting background, we have to isolate the subject. I've just spotted a kangaroo feeding over here. So my mind is immediately going, where can I get the best background? Where can I get the best composition? Where do I need to be? So I'm looking at it and the sun's over here. So I'm trying to think, where can I go to get the best angle of this kangaroo? So I think what I need to do is walk around behind the kangaroo. So let's do that. Kangaroo is directly over here. I've got my camera, I've got my settings, and we will see how we go. By me moving, I'm trying to improve the shot. See, I'm looking at this kangaroo, and we've got the white signs in the background, which is not what we want, and I've got this big green thing at the front in the middle. We don't want that, so if I move to my left, I need to keep moving. Hopefully it doesn't move. Okay, all right, so this is much, much better. See, now this shot here looks better because we don't have those distracting elements. So basically all I've done is I'm looking at the subject, I'm looking at the habitat around the subject. Does it enhance or take away? And at the moment it's definitely enhancing. As I've walked back, I've noticed a golden-headed Cisticola in these grasses here, and it was down quite low, so I just pointed the camera at the bird and took a shot. I was too far away, the bird was too low, and you get a shot that looks like this. It's just not a very good shot. So that's just my process. Where's the subject? What's around it? Where can I position myself? And just constantly moving and reacting to the situation. So what we need to do is try and find that bird again and wait for it to get up higher and isolate it. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go and look for one and see if we can't get a shot. I'm just waiting for a bird to pop up. They're all a bit too low at the moment. Hopefully it'll go up a bit. There we go. This one's a bit more in the open. Suits the habitat fairly well. So as usual, not a lot was happening, and I was thinking, oh no, I'm in the wrong spot. And then I spotted a couple of black-faced cuckoo-shrikes, which are a larger bird. Thankfully, a couple of birds landed. They were a little bit way off. Actually, they were a long way off, but sometimes that's okay. Sometimes it's okay to have a small bird in its habitat if there's nothing distracting. And here's the shot. Let me know what you think. You know, we've got this bird surveying its habitat, and I like it. The bird's not huge, but we get a sense of the feeling, and that's what we're going for. The background is contributing to our images. I've been waiting for these birds to pop up, and they just haven't, so it makes it difficult to demonstrate, but I think it highlights how difficult it is. Sometimes you go out to the field and you just can't get the shot you're after, and that's just the way it is. You know, I've been trying and trying, and unfortunately I just haven't been able to get that exact shot. All right, well, obviously you can see I've moved locations. I'll be completely honest with you, I gave up yesterday. I didn't get the shot I was after, and I thought I'll just scrap that video and start again. But on reflection, I think it's important that I leave that in and I share with you the shots that didn't work, just to show you that even I struggle, we all struggle. You can have the best technique, you can have the best gear, you can have the best plan, but sometimes it just doesn't happen, and that happened to me yesterday. If we have a look at this shot of a golden-headed Cisticola, you can see it's very, very close, but I just didn't like the shadow over the face, and there's a little bit too distracting. So it's close, but not quite there. And this next shot, again, not too bad. The bird's a little bit small, but there's too much space on the right-hand side of the image. It's just not balanced. So again, that's an instant delete from me. So as you can see, I am being fairly specific, but that's what we have to do. We have to, these cockatoos are so noisy. We have to try and get that framing right. We have to try and get that composition right, or it doesn't work. And that's what we always have to be conscious of. And I'm here, I'm at this beautiful lake, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to create a shot. The sun's about to come up, and look, I'm just here because I love this spot, and I'll try and share the sunrise with you, and then we'll try and get some shots of some fairy wrens or something like that, and I'll explain even more to you. I've definitely underestimated how cold it is. My hands are freezing, but it's absolutely beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I haven't really got any shots, but it doesn't bother me. I'm just happy to be here to witness this beautiful sunrise. What I'm hoping for is some sort of bird to come through this sunlit, foggy water is what I'd love. I think it's important to understand that a lot of this is luck. You can be the best photographer in the world, but if the birds don't perform or the birds don't show up, you're out of luck. And that's why you need to get out as often as you can, because eventually a bird will turn up where you want it. If you put yourself in the right position enough times, hopefully something will happen and a bird will turn up. But it's just important that you keep scanning and you keep looking at what could potentially happen. So we did have some pelicans going through the water. I don't know if that's going to work, but maybe it'll work. Just having that backlit shot with the beautiful steam on the water. We had some pelicans moving through the mist. They're a long way off, but I don't mind that. I don't mind a small bird in the frame. There's quite a few small birds flying. Oh. Oh, 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 oh. Got a couple of ducks swimming. Just quickly, what you need to look out for when you're taking photos. If you've got a bird on a perch like this and your background is this tree here, this tree is not that far behind the subject and it's going to be quite dark, brown and distracting. So let's have a look at what it looks like with this bird here, this tree here. So this is what it looks like. We can see that the bird is nice and big in the frame. However, that tree branch is directly behind it. And that is not what we want. It's just too distracting. It doesn't make for a pleasant background. However, if we were to move, all right, so hopefully you can instantly see the difference yourself. We've got the subject, the background is that grass, which is a little way away, but you can see the consistent color. So when you're standing back and you're framing your subject, ultimately you want to have a look at what's around your subject and you don't want anything majorly distracting. And this grass is not distracting. It's sort of a solid color. Let's have a look what it looks like with the camera. As you can see, that grass doesn't distract. So you can see how beautiful that now is just by isolating that subject. But this is what we're going for, you know, you're trying to get the bird isolated with a background that's not too distracting. And hopefully you picked that up from today's session. All right, that brings episode 2 to an end. Hopefully what you picked up from today is that your background is as important as the subject itself. That background needs to enhance the subject. It needs to contribute to it. And as photographers, we need to be constantly aware of the background, moving our position, whether we go up and down, left or right, and just trying to create that frame in our mind and capture it. If there's something distracting, move position. Try and follow the bird somewhere else. It's all about being aware of that background and isolating the subject. We saw how that if there's nothing directly behind the bird, our background will become more out of focus. And so it's just always just practice, practice, practice. Get out there and just keep trying. I failed, and I'm sure you will fail, but the more we get out there, the more likely we are to get some good shots. So hopefully this has been beneficial, and if you like this content, obviously give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of these educational videos, let me know. Maybe there's a subject you're interested in that I can look at. I just want to thank all those new members and existing members. For the price of less than a cup of coffee per month, you can directly support me, get out in the field and do what I love, and I really do appreciate that. So until the next video, happy birding, take care, see you later.